Anybody watching soccer?
Yeah, I've been
Football,
watching a fair bit.
I watch it. Big time.
I'm sure okay. I want to watch Morocco today.
Boring.
So,
Okay, are we ready to go, sir? All right, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Are there any announcements? Mr. Engineer, who's with us electronically?
Mr. President, Alyssa Lopez is.
Hello, Ms. Lopez. Who's Ms. Lopez with? Oh, just a nice person that's with us electronically. Very good. Can she hear us? Sure. Hello, Ms. Lopez. I always.
Hi, yes, I am able to hear you. Sorry.
Wonderful. That's okay. Perhaps you had stepped away, but thanks for joining us. Okay. Just one quick question. Are you just an active listener or are you with us for a particular item?
Yeah, so I am with Washington County. I'm just here to listen in on the Cimarron permit topic. So yeah, just here to listen.
Very good, ma'am. Okay. We will make sure that you can hear us. Okay. Anything further? The approval of the agenda. I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Then moved in second.
Aye.
hi,
Aye.
hi.
Right. Thank you, gentlemen. That is approved. The agenda is approved. Public forum. Anybody wishing to speak? No one at this point. Okay. So we'll move on. We'll go to the consent calendar. Is there any item that any of the managers want removed from the consent calendar? One thing before I proceed with that, John, this is a new treasurer's report. Is this an updated one or?
Mr. President, Red Pat submitted it today to make some corrections to the chart numbers.
Oh, very good, sir. Okay. All right.
I don't want to remove an item, but I'd just like to comment that I found the beaver removal service information.
Well, that
Very,
was-
the log was
We're
really.
going to talk about that. We're going to have a nice conversation, a quick conversation. I have some things to say about that. Okay. So not hearing anything, I would like to remove item D, the Weber Pond Outlet Maintenance Beaver Removal Services. Okay. So with that said, sir, do you have one?
No, no.
Okay. So with that said, I would like to go ahead and make a motion to approve the consent calendar items without item D.
Second.
Moved and seconded.
Aye.
Hi,
Aye.
hi.
Okay. Now let's get into this. So I want to talk about the Weber Pond project very quickly. Typically, I just want the managers to be very clear about this, just in case. I don't need to sound like the bad guy again, but typically we pay out $500 and no less for beaver removal. Now, in this case, after reading the report and understanding something about trapping and the work that's involved in trapping, especially the animals here, this gentleman has every reason, and I can corroborate it with the information that I know. I'm not a rodent scientist or anything, but the report was thorough, excellent, and it would be nice to see that sort of stuff in other realms because we want to gather as much information as possible. That is my opinion. The report was so good that I felt that the $1,800 that our engineering is recommending we pay him is worthy of it. Also, he caught two animals, as you gentlemen read in this piece, that were wary, and that's difficult. And I recently had an incident myself that I dealt with, or that I was a party to. And I never knew beavers got 72 pounds. So they're two massive animals, very difficult to catch, and he had to do various things to make that happen. So with that said, while I would like our engineer to hear this, that whenever this sort of thing comes up, that we are careful about our expenditures, and that when somebody wants big money, so to speak, for an item like this, that it's corroborated with heavy duty facts and information like this gentleman did. And I believe that those animals would have continued to cause major trouble. And unfortunately for them, you know, that's what they do, you know, and we just can't have them here. They're wonderful. We know how good they are to the environment, but my gosh. One of those beavers weighs more than one of my dogs. Okay, so enough of that. With that said, I would like to make a motion to approve the Weber Pond Outlet Maintenance beaver removal service recommended for payment of, what was that, 1,800, and is it $1,800 even? Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded.
Aye.
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 Okay. Yeah, that was something, John.
Yeah, we may not be dealing with Wile E. Coyote, but we certainly are dealing with Kylie beavers.
That's another problem. But so far, not relating to our water priorities. And lastly, that picture that he took, you know, that's something that you generally see from the 19th century, where people have stacked hundreds of ducks or something. And they go, look what we got, you know, Shakopee, 250 ducks in one afternoon. Okay. Let's move on to the next item. Oh boy, this one's fun. The Minnesota Pollution Control Agency draft reissue permit for the Cimarron Park wastewater treatment plant. Sir, please explain this briefly.
Mr. President, managers, this was discussed at the last meeting. Yes, the managers directed me to send them the draft comment letter. Put up front that the manager's first expectation is that they connect to Metropolitan Sewer. And then if that somehow it doesn't happen, that they do all of the analysis of needed for their developing their emergency flood plan to do that prior to issuing the permit. So the draft letter tries to incorporate the manager's comments. I can take any additional edits the managers would like. The comment letter is due on July 15th.
On July 15th. I'm going to go ahead and start with Rick, because you seem to have the most pertinent concerns from last time, our last meeting. How are you?
I was very pleased with the changes in the letter. I think that it's much more forceful, and you know, that's the kind of concern that we ought to have and be addressing it in this way, so that it is clear, you know, this is what we think really needs to happen.
I cannot argue with you, sir. No.
Public discussion about it if, you know, when the permit comes out, if there's people that object to it, to address it. You know, I think this stimulates people to be able to start figuring out, how do we solve this problem that's laid out here, you know, put them on the sewer system. And there's challenges to that. Getting it out and being aware of it is really good. This is a perfect forum for that.
Compelling argument. Mr. Brock, do you have any?
No, the letter is good.
Pretty thorough, gentlemen. Sir.
I do like the updated letter. I did have one question, and maybe it's for the legal counsel. On the notice of public intent to reissue, the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency issued, it mentions, after all the comments and everything are in, that there's a possibility of a contested case hearing. Would that only be for the petitioner or, the person seeking to re-up the permit if it's denied, or if it's issued, could we actually attend that hearing and try to stop it from being reissued?
That's a great question. I don't know. And funny enough,
Whoa,
I had a similar thought as to they're mentioning this process of the public hearing and then formal.
From an administrative judge, yeah.
But I don't know if that's more along the lines of that's just the order that can occur if people choose to appeal, sort of making you aware this is a notice of the process, or if it's, because I don't know why you go before an administrative judge if somebody hasn't started that appeal process.
My simple observations from DNR fisheries, and maybe this is way different, is that if it goes to contested hearing, it's open for people to come and testify for or against. Okay.
But the procedure for getting it to a contested hearing might only be if it wasn't reissued and that Cimarron would request this hearing, and then at that point we could step forward, or if it was issued and we didn't like the outcome, could we?
So my hunch is that the call for contested hearing is embedded in the NPCA rule process. So for example, with DNR fisheries, if we have something much simpler, such as a special regulation proposed for fish, and if we get 100 negative comments from the public, then we have to go before contested hearing with an ALJ. So we'd have to, I guess, probably look closely at NPCA's process for what triggers a contested hearing.
so John is aware, if I may, Mr. Engineer, John, as far as everyone is aware, tell us briefly our next step here with this. We submit this to,
Mr. President, submit it to Cameron at the Minnesota Pollution Control
Right.
Agency.
my name's all over this, by the way.
And, as I said, that's due on the 15th. I guess I don't really know how long the PCA has to consider the comments. I know City of Lake Elmo has already submitted comments. Washington County is asking for an extension to submit comments, but they submitted comments as well. The permit was issued in 2015 and it expired in 2020, so it's been expired for 6 years. So I really don't know what their process is for renewing.
Sorry. Thought that was fun. Sir,
Yeah, it didn't get to me yet on the comments, but I just.
Please.
My concern, similar to what Rick stated, on the version we looked at 2 weeks ago, was that connection to sanitary source seemed to be secondary, and this definitely brings it right up front where it should be. So, and I know it's a big bill, but you would hope that all the government units from the county and the council to PCA would, I mean, if the state really wanted to, they could make this happen.
really?
Yeah, I mean, a $2 million bonding allocation is peanuts these days.
Okay.
We get 28 million allocated for a new hatchery in DNR fisheries.
What?
So,
Come on, you never catch anything. Anyway,
whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and Commissioner Cox came up to me after the last meeting.
Yeah.
She said, you guys are exactly right with the concerns, and she seemed to indicate that that's where the county board is as well. So,
yeah. It does seem obvious, and the only people who could potentially be hurt in this is the owners of the property, because they would receive the bill, so to speak, for putting this together, correct, John?
Yes.
Okay. So we're doing our part. And we're going to submit this letter. Do we require a motion for this? We can just direct you?
I think it would be wise, since you're the one signing it,
Yeah.
managers to
Okay.
approve the letter and authorize you to execute it on behalf of the district.
Mr. President, prior to that.
Yes, sir.
I do have one question for the board.
Yes,
I included a long copy list for the letter that it currently includes Senator Seeberger and Representative Johnson.
yes,
Is that appropriate? Are the managers comfortable with that?
I am. I'm assuming the other managers are. This is a win-win.
I think so, certainly. I mean,
They
there's a
need to
state
be
agency that's front and center on this.
Yeah,
and
ultimately,
PCA, so-
ultimately, one of them would have to carry it if there was ever any funding assistance, so.
I'm not sure I see, Leon Lilly on here,
Where,
Representative Lilly for, I guess that's kind of out of the
He's your
area.
area. I could
But
add
he
more.
crosses into,
you'll see where.
probably not all the way over there. Forget it. Thank you.
Oh, yeah,
Thank you.
with a pretty please, yeah. Thank you, sir. Okay, so. Yes, sir, go ahead.
I'm just gonna offer with our president as the person signing the letter, I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion that we accept the draft letter before us for approval for our president to sign it and send it in.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded.
Aye.
Aye. Oh, sorry. Aye,
Aye.
Hi,
parliamentary procedure. It is unanimous. Thank you, gentlemen. John, please follow up with that, and I want to have a discussion with you later about this item. Okay, thank you, sir. Let's move on to our next item. The 3M PFAS Settlement Priority 2 Grant Program. District Chloride Reduction Source Control Program. John, please lead us into this one as well. Thank you.
Well, it's been a long time in the making. You might remember year and a half ago, 2 years ago, the managers came up with a priority list of what projects they'd like to submit letters of intent to submit a grant on. Did that, and the PCA rejected a few of those, and the managers then directed us to submit full applications on 4. We did that, and the announcements of grant awards was on July 1st. So Valley Branch was successful in getting a $350,000 grant to deal with chloride source control and reduction. So I think that's a positive thing. The next steps that they would, that they've asked are to
That risk
award
assessment.
risk assessment. So I took a shot at completing that. It basically says that none of you are felons, I guess.
No, nobody, at least financially, right?
And then you need to submit a financial statement, which I can do or point them to the link on the
That-
website.
That seems easy enough. Are those the only requirements that we have for our next step?
For now, that's next step, and then to authorize us staff to work with the PCA on updating the application materials, because the original grant application was for $500,000, and they're suggesting awarding it $350,000, so they want to see a revision to the application for that adjustment. So,
Okay, so nothing further on our part.
no, just
Yeah.
giving us direction to act on your behalf.
Okay, because I had a lot of questions how we're going to go about that, but first things first. Okay, so we are directed, excuse me, did you have something, sir?
couple of questions.
Please.
In terms of the timing on it, I saw in there, they said something about if you want to start early, notify them, and I'm not sure if that's appropriate for us or not. I don't know if we're ready to do that. And I'd be interested in your thoughts on it. Also, how long of a time period do we have to spend the money?
Sure, President, Treasurer Delman, all good questions. Since it's taken them so long in announcing the award recipients. I don't recall if it was ever defined what the timeframe was.
Mhm.
Typically, you receive grants from the board's water and soil resources for 3 years.
Mhm.
Sometimes with the Met Council, they're 2 years oftentimes.
So we have a
I'm
little.
not sure how long it will take them to process these agreements here.
Mhm.
They seem, this is a new grant program for them. So with Minnesota Board of Water and Soil Resources, they have the system like that. So they know
Mm.
this is what needs to be done and these are all the steps. That hasn't been defined with this. I would guess that they want all the contracts in place by the end of this calendar year.
Mhm.
We can, when we're working on the scope refinement, can ask them what should our expectation be and when we can start to utilize the grant.
Thank you.
Okay. Do the managers have any further questions on this item? So we just need to direct you, or do we require with the counselor's blessing, anything further?
No, I don't think.
Well, that's good. Okay. So, Mr. Engineer, we're directing you to submit the required information by July 24. Very good. All right. Thank you.
And congrats to John for all of us.
Yeah,
For a win here.
I can't reach around to my back, but certainly an air pat on the back to all of you. You know, like the air guitar. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get it. I do air hugs with some clients. It's not just for hygienic reasons. So I don't violate their space. Too much information. Okay,
So, quick question,
yes, sir.
on the application, did we give a detailed list of what we're gonna do, or is it was pretty general, or how, you know, as far as the budget breakdown and everything, I should list, but sorry.
First things first, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, Secretary Black managers, there is a breakdown because part of the program involved identifying the top 10 large parking lots in the district.
right,
And then reaching out to the parking lot owners and seeing how they manage their snow and if there's ways to minimize or improve how they manage their snow and to minimize the ordinance. Other things were to talk with representatives of all the communities within Valley Branch Watershed District, the cities, townships, Washington County, Ramsey County, to find out what they are currently doing and what they'd like assistance on. And then developing some sort of cost share grant program that would maybe help fund some activities of the cities, townships, counties to maybe retrofit equipment or I don't think there's necessarily need, but if there were needs to develop grinding stations, things like that. So some parts of the grant are defined, but some of them were kind of loose because like, well, we don't necessarily know what our.
right, until we get there. And the only reason I asked the question is because I recall from our tour a year or two ago where we stopped at the high school. And I just think, you know, that might be a really good opportunity of somebody to partner with if they're willing. I don't know what their management practices are now. Maybe they're pretty good. I don't know. But I just think being the real large parking lot and their public education. And they were putting in new parking lots now for these new schools and stuff. You know, so anyway, District 834 might be somebody to reach out to.
That's a great idea. Yep. Right. So you're going to go about that by contacting them, or are we going to wait till this business is taken care of first?
The first step is to submit this required document to the PCA, work with them on developing a scope of work, a work plan. And then once that work plan is developed, then implement the work plan, which would involve meeting with the communities, including the Stillwater high school.
to me initially from reading this, it seemed like a tall order. You know, because I have, honestly, limited views on how we're gonna go about this. It's either enforcement or education or a combination, whatever, but that'll turn into an all-night, discussion. So, you know,
It's undefined right now, but you
Yep.
could easily spend $350,000 giving it to Washington County or Lake Elmo to retrofit some equipment.
that's a good one. Yeah, that, I see, I didn't even realize that. So that might be to our benefit. You know, instead of figuring something out and spending a lot of money talking about it. So, very
Well, I
good. sir.
think, I think some of the stuff about defining where the biggest issues are is really important, because
We need
then
to
that gives
determine
us the
that.
ability to
Yeah.
kind of leverage that with whoever that entity is or entities.
Yes, sir. That's something that we have to pursue that if we don't already know it. But as
Right.
Mr. Brock pointed out, that new school that's going up in
Mhm.
Lake Elmo, that's got a whole lot of square footage that can be treated. So that's going to be a concern, and it's right next to Lake Elmo. How could be?
Mhm.
And the initial grant application included other things that you've heard about, giving away free chicken breast, just to get the public awareness that there's maybe some alternatives
Right.
to using salt to, if you just need traction. So that's another thing to work through is that something that would be funded through this grant? If there's money, or if the managers want to do that separately, if there's that money.
Very
Say
good.
something quick.
Please.
If you were at the Washington County Fair, you could have little bags of chicken grit at your booth and give it out for, a little education on sodium chlorine.
Kitty.
Hmm.
Or kitty litter.
Yeah, right when everybody's thinking about snow, when it's blazing hot, I know, but I
Yeah.
was just thinking of.
All the people with backyard flocks will be taking it home and using it for their chickens.
Yeah, exactly. Thinking that it's, yeah, exactly. Because I use pelletized chicken fecal matter, and it's very effective. My tomato plants are threatening to kill me. They're so big. Okay. Anything further on that item? All right. Thank you, everybody. Counselor, you're up.
I do have something.
Yes, ma'am.
I have new information that just came to our office today,
Region.
so funny enough, in my bag, the district is supposed to purchase the last home in the list of homes on Monday. June 13th or July 13th, the purchase agreement says it needs to be purchased on or before July 15th. This is the home that's owned by an LLC, and there are tenants, if you recall,
Yeah.
they came to a meeting and asked, could you push it out because it's hard to find a place to live. They're now refusing to leave.
Right.
So they have hired an attorney who contacted Tori today and said they're not gonna be out. So in conversation with the LLC owner, the discussion was, do you want to cancel the purchase agreement and refund the earnest money? Because if you recall, the earnest money was $115,000. So you would have to give that back to the district or extend it. And John can speak better to this, but the contractors are set. There's a contract to tear down that home and the other remaining one, the Winkles previously lived in, at the end of July. So that's not going to happen if we don't close relatively soon. An eviction hearing typically takes at least a month, but if they have an attorney, they could actually have a trial on the matter, so it could take longer. The second option offered for discussion was to extend the purchase agreement with a caveat that if the district sustains any financial harm from the contractor for having to push it, that would be covered by the seller. Of course, I don't know that we even had an estimate to give him what that might be, because once he knows, that may make a difference in his opinion. The other point I should make, and I raised this because the attorney that spoke with Tori mentioned it, but I I don't know the legal basis. He was arguing that because a municipal entity was purchasing a home, they were supposed to give notice to the tenants and help them relocate. And I said, I don't think so. So I've asked him to send the authority for that. At the end of the day, I still think the issue is with the property owner, not the district. It's not like the district was purchasing the money to hang on to and have a tenant.
Right.
So if a purchase agreement addendum is executed, it will include a provision that the tenant must be out of the home and it must be completely vacated prior to the closing. So that's the update. I'm not really worried about anything. I don't think the district's done anything wrong per se or anything along those lines, but I just want to let you know, probably not going to close on the house on the 13th. And Tori will have to come back with an update on the 22nd as to what new information she has. But do you have any questions in the meantime?
Yes, ma'am. So in the meantime, my understanding is that the homeowner is going to incur any costs that might harm us. Is that correct?
No, he's only agreeing to do
hearsay?
that if the purchase agreement is extended. Otherwise, he would need to cancel the purchase agreement and refund the earnest money that's already been paid.
Okay. If that takes place, then we have to demolish around that property, the other ones, and that
There's
one
only-
remains up.
There's only 2 left.
Yeah.
Three have been demolished?
3 have been demolished. There's only this house that we're talking about and then the house next door.
The house next door. So if that's not an issue, then they can stay. What happens if they stay? In other words, if they decide that, because my understanding from what you told us is that they're not moving, period. Is that correct?
Well, he can bring an eviction action. They have a lease agreement, so he can go through, he can't do vigilante justice and change the box and tell them tough cookies, get out, right? He can't do that.
Squatters.
So he will need to go through a legal process to get them out. At the end of the day, it may take some time, but he owns the property and he will have the right to get them out. I just don't know when or how long that will take.
Okay. So there's nothing that can be done in the meantime without any further discussion between your firm and the property owner.
Yeah, it's not the district's problem to solve, right? I
Good,
mean, the
yeah.
district can't purchase the property with a tenant in there. You're not gonna purchase it subject to the lease agreement.
Right.
But the issue of getting the tenant out is not the district's problem. What I don't know is if the tenant's attorney is gonna try and pull the district in somehow, but I need to see what legal basis they would have, and I don't think anything's gonna happen too significantly in the next 2 weeks.
So at this point, you don't believe they have sufficient legal basis for any action, correct?
My gut instinct is no, but like I said, I asked them to send me their legal argument. I haven't seen anything,
Okay,
so. I mean, if it was eminent domain, I would get it, right? If you're forcing someone to move out of their property as a government entity, I get that, but as a voluntary, plus their lease agreement, to the best of my knowledge, ended on July 1st. What I don't know is if the current property owner took the steps he should have taken, such as a notice to vacate. You know, if there was an automatic lease renewal clause, if you failed to do a notice to vacate, I don't know any of that. And again, that's not the district's problem to solve. That's between the landlord and tenant.
okay.
Couple of questions. Is the bid that we got for the demolition based on having those 2 properties right adjacent? So it presumably would affect, because they'd have to re-equip it to get their equipment back, and so it probably would go up in that case, right? Though we'd incur those costs. And then also, if it came down to getting the $150,000 in earnest money back, does that affect our bonding issue at all with the spending it? I don't know where we sit with that.
I was gonna ask that, but I
Mike,
figured at this point, we we don't have anything on that, but you did bring up a brilliant point. Yeah, that's gonna affect the demolition. You know, and they're not gonna do this, or they're gonna say, you know, so we're gonna eat that, so to speak.
Maybe Manager Armstrong, we just found out about this afternoon, so,
Yeah.
Josh Phillips has been leading this effort. He'll communicate with the contractor. Because we don't know what the contractor's schedule is, you know, even though the contract that we had with them said that they would have likely access starting Monday. They might not have planned to get in there until August, because I think our contract says that it needs to be done by middle of August. But then Engineer Phillips and I talked about, I was like, well, what is the risk to the district if this gets delayed until September or October? And we couldn't really think of a whole lot other than if the contractor somehow makes an argument that it's gonna cost him extra money. And then I mentioned to Attorney Torset that I don't recall what all the insurance issues were that the managers brought up about having insurance on these homes, these properties. If there's any detail there that might affect, I doubt it, but it seems like the risk to the district as far as this contract is relatively low.
I would think that the contractor would be entitled to another mobilization, demobilization charge at least, as at a minimum.
If it's
If it's two separate.
mobilization.
Yeah,
If we work out a change order with them that extends the contract to some time when we'll know that we'll have access to both properties, then he still might only do one mobilization, because he would do both of them at the same time.
okay.
That's most efficient. The other detail is that we have agreement with Lake Elmo Fire Department to utilize the Echols Home for training. So, you know, they were very nice with the district about the delay in the last fire training. So, I think they'll understand in this situation too.
So one thing is I obviously have to get the numbers ready before this meeting. So I have a check for $350,000 to buy it. So what I suggest is we put it in our trust account, unless it would be earning interest. It doesn't earn interest in our trust account. Does it earn interest if it's?
It does earn.
Then why don't I just give it back? And,
Yes,
good
idea.
What's it?
Well, this void it.
Interest until it's cash.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
she just
so-
does, it holds it, but doesn't cash
yeah,
it.
why don't I just
Oh, yeah,
turn
yeah,
to the physical check then, in case we can somehow close before the 22nd.
Yeah.
At that point, we'll know, and I'll let you know if we cash it
Okay.
or not. I'll just hang on to the physical
Excellent.
check.
Sounds good.
Grants.
Excellent. Good.
So, oh, the bond money, I have no idea, but didn't you say we were over?
We're well over, but if somehow they return the money that was given to them before last November, it'll get really complicated, but let's not. Let's just see how things go.
Oh, I know what I was gonna say. A third option we didn't talk about, but could, I mean, the district could choose to cancel the purchase agreement and just say, let's start from scratch. Of course, then, you know, your appraisal is from last year and you have all of that. So just, I don't know that you have to make that decision tonight, but there is a process to cancel a purchase agreement. It does take about 30 days, even though the end date is July 15th. But before we have to send a start a process saying that they're in default of it because they didn't convey the property to the district, or the seller didn't. So something else to keep in mind. Again, I think we don't have enough information
Right,
to advise that, but I do want to say, really, I was saying there's two options, but really there's three. The seller could cancel. You can cancel as the buyer and just say, you know what, this isn't the right time. We don't want to deal with some attorney saying that we have obligations that don't think we have. You know, come back to us once you got your tenant out and we can renegotiate. Or you can keep the agreement in place and just extend it. So just know there's some options. So
Okay.
I think the 22nd, there hopefully will be more information to make, for both of us to make a better, recommendation.
So.
Hmm.
The next question is, are you going to approach the property owner, or how's this gonna work?
Yeah, no, Tori's been in communication
Okay,
regularly,
so
so
Tori's going to-
on Monday, the
Yeah.
tenant showed up at our office,
Really?
just at our office, and
Okay.
Tori went into a meeting room and talked to the landlord and current owner and tenant and tried to negotiate something. They agreed to get out by today. The tenant agreed to be out by today, and then the attorney called Tori today and said, they're not gonna be out today, and by the way, these are all the legal rates they're asserting. So I don't think it's gonna be a quick or easy solution.
Okay, so I guess we'll take some sort of action pending what we hear from them, and we'll try to benefit that. And thank you for bringing that up about holding on to the check, so we don't have to.
Yeah.
We can continue to acquire interest on it.
Do I recall it correctly that the tenant actually came in and talked with us in the meeting here?
You do, that's actually why it was
It's
extended
clearly
to
aware
July
of it.
15th. It was
Mhm.
pushed out a full year.
Yeah.
They were here a year ago at this meeting. Maybe not this, but one or both of them was at this meeting, the tenants asking, and I mean, they've been calling John.
Josh.
Oh, Josh, okay. I think they've tried calling up while they showed up in our office, right? So they're feeling pretty desperate, but again, at the end of the day, it's the landlord's problem to solve, not the district's. And frankly, I think the district was quite giving and saying, okay, well, you can have a year. You know,
Yeah.
It seems like a year is a pretty reasonable timeline to find a new place.
Yeah, that's all obvious, you know, something's going on here, and the concern is further cost to the district. We don't want to distress anybody, we don't want to cause any trouble, but we certainly want this to go through because it's, this is hurting the taxpayer, what we've gone through, you know. So we're just gonna wait and see and figure out what happens there and then follow through. If we have to redo something, we'll do it, but we want to avoid these things in the future. Mr. Bill, did you have anything further? Thank you for bringing that up, though.
Not really, no.
Okay. Very interesting.
that's all I have.
That was
That's
plenty.
it. That's all.
Thank you, Suzanne. Okay. Managers, let's talk about the appointment of delegates. Mr. Pereira, this is your realm.
Okay,
Please lead us.
sure. So, I gave you all a briefing at the last meeting on our petitions that were approved at the
Right?
committee, resolutions committee, 9 petitions. That's in the package that John provided you. Our annual meeting on resolutions is scheduled for August 31st. We typically, appoint 2 delegates. I am going to, do my very best to chair this meeting from 7 time zones forward, which is convenient because that's at 5 p.m. where I'm at. And I've been in touch with the lodge in Palm Lake, Namibia, and they said we do have internet and it's strongest in the restaurant area, and dinner doesn't open till 7. So I think I can pull this off if the internet comes through for me. But what I told Jan, and Jan is fine with this, Jan is ready to back me up if the internet fails. But I also told Jan that I would maybe make sure that we get 2 delegates from the 4 of you. And I would probably just chair the meeting and not be a delegate.
Okay.
We do need a quorum for this one. Last year it was 41. I don't know how many it is this year, so it's virtual. It's an hour and a half.
Oh, it's virtual.
Yes. It's an hour and a half. The resolutions are, as you can see, are reasonably straightforward. There wasn't one vote of opposition in the committee for each of the 9 resolutions. So wishful thinking, but I anticipate really easy sailing on this one. So,
Okay. So, at this point, we can, nominate delegates. Who's up? Was every,
I'll be backpacking in the Glacier Peak Wilderness and on August
Oh,
31st.
even worse internet than me.
Lodge.
There's no lodge.
Can we rent Commissioner Armstrong's satellite phone?
I got some bear spray for you. Yeah. I looked at the cans and the guy goes, this is more expensive. And I go, it is. He goes, yeah, how much do you value your life? I go, okay. So,
And you can tell it's grizzly poop because it smells like pepper.
yeah, the stuff. Holy cow. All good news. So,
I should be around.
okay,
I mean,
that will more than like, when does this take place?
August 31st at 10 a.m.
No,
10
I
to
should be
11:30,
around
and I will promise you, I will run a speedy meeting if I can.
too. Okay, since it's virtual. I was 30%. Yeah, I can be here too, at the shop and, attend that. Hey, Rick, what are you doing?
Already. I heard two volunteers already.
I did it last year.
You think your dog sled trip to the Arctic Circle?
Yeah, I got a quick plan of
Yeah,
trip.
don't do that.
Yeah, last year we did it in St. Cloud. We had to, did it in person.
I don't even know if there's I should know this, I don't even know if there's a physical option this year.
Okay, so.
Oh, we only need 22 delegates.
By how convenient.
Okay.
Well, if need be, but you'll keep us posted, or somebody will,
Yeah.
Mr. Engineer.
Yeah.
As to the nature of our requirements, and then we'll follow through with that. We've got a couple more meetings that will hone this in and get us on board with it, right?
Mr. President,
Yeah.
Executive Director Voight does want the delegate forms soon.
Okay,
So I guess I would ask that you make a decision tonight, who delegate one, delegate two, and the alternate will be.
was historically Mr. Brock, no, or yes?
I've served as a delegate too,
That's okay, yeah.
a couple of times.
Yeah.
But if Rick's around, wants to do it.
Rick, what do you think?
Well, I can do it if need be. But
Yeah, I'm in, yeah.
you're in, okay.
And then if we need someone else,
You're
Fine,
saying
amongst
you'd rather not?
yourselves.
You're saying you'd rather not?
No, I mean, it doesn't, it's virtual, it's easy
Mhm.
enough, it's
Yeah.
just log in and
Shops at
do
night,
a,
right? No,
do a
you're
Zoom
right,
or
man,
whatever.
compared to me,
Mhm.
I'm at 5 p.m.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna. I don't know what that camp's gonna be like. Wow. Okay.
A lot of black rhinos in there. I could get run up a tree by a black rhino, you never know.
I keep thinking about.
That'd be better than losing internet, actually.
Mambas and all the other stuff that you don't see. Those are the ones that scare me. Okay.
Mr. President, another detail, and that's, I have been
Yeah.
talking with Jen Voight in Anna area. Anna is the administrator with Capital Region Watershed District, who submitted the resolution regarding the plumbing board and their
Yeah,
goal, I guess, or
right.
their position to try to prohibit stormwater for irrigation. And so there might be a slight amendment to that resolution
Oh.
that would also say that the state, including the organization that registers professional engineers, should work with the plumbing board to clarify that professional engineers should be responsible for storm sewer and plumbers should be responsible for things inside buildings. And not really kind of take it to a higher level
Yeah.
rather than only talking about reuse.
From our perspective, that's a friendly amendment. And I don't know if I informed you of this, but on the 23rd, the day after the committee meeting, there was a meeting of the plumbing board and it didn't go well. Our student are concerned.
They were hostile?
I wasn't there.
Oh,
So I was there and
Yeah.
it was 2.5 hours of testimony, 30 some people gave testimony, I gave testimony, Washington County gave testimony, others, that are partners. All but two said the planning board shouldn't do this. The two that did say that they should go ahead and prohibit stormwater were the pipe fitters union and a plumbers union. So they didn't say we're not gonna do it. They said that we're going to pause, and they're having another meeting on, I think it's the 23rd of July, to reconvene an ad hoc committee to talk about the issue.
You know, one scenario I was hoping is they would finally come to their senses, or somebody higher up in the labor industry or government's office would correct it. And this would go away. If that happens before August 31st, then Anna can just hold a resolution because we don't need it.
Right.
Now, that's wishful thinking, maybe, who knows?
Very interesting.
So as long as we're talking a little bit about details, I didn't see any regulatory approach for chloride in here.
That's already in the books, or that resolution was passed last year.
Yeah.
So
The
that stays on the
regulatory
books for, that stays on the books for 5
Okay.
years. Yeah.
Okay.
And now, will chlorides be one of our top priorities for the coming session? That hasn't been determined yet.
Mhm.
I will probably be in favor of making sure that happens.
Mhm.
And recall, we also have a new policy from Clean Water Council that hopefully is gonna add some momentum to the whole chloride thing,
Mhm.
along with John's often.
What?
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
I didn't hear what you said, the last part.
Oh, along with John's awesome grant from the three.
Yes.
First things first. Very good.
Yeah,
Does that conclude your information,
it
sir?
does, and I think whichever of the four of you volunteer to be a delegate. Appreciate it.
To summarize, I have President Rashan as delegate 1, Secretary Brock as delegate 2, and Treasurer Gilman as the alternate.
Sounds good.
Not too bad, eh, Rick?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I won't let you down.
Thanks again.
I have to go sit in the office. Okay, well, glad we got through that one. And all the managers looked at the cost share program and
I
project
think that
tracking.
actually
Yes, ma'am.
requires a motion,
Oh, it does?
because you're making a determination on behalf of your fellow watershed.
Oh,
like,
Mr.
on
Polera,
behalf
go
of-
for it.
I will move approval of the 3 delegates, Marchand and Rock, and with Goldman as a delegate for the annual meeting on
I'll second that motion.
resolutions and petitions.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
Hi.
that is unanimous. It passes. Thank you, Counselor.
Mhm.
That's what I get for finger pointing. All right. Now we can move on. Information only, cost share program project tracking. The managers have all seen this, I assume. They're down to $11,000, just over. We'll see how that goes. Inspectors report. Anything that stands out. Managers want to make that, nobody is here to contest it, but if you want to, yes, sir, go ahead.
Quick question for the administrator. Is things going well with inspections with our new inspection program?
I think they're going very well. He utilizes the district's software. So when he does reports, he takes photos, uploads those photos, they get included in the report, and they go off to the permit holder as well as communities, whether it's a city of Oakdale, Lake Elmo. So I think he's been doing a great job.
Good to hear.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We like good news. Okay. The Bellwin report, everybody has seen that. That's wonderful, by the way. They're doing it for kids. I noticed that they're doing this when the weather's a little colder. Because we're right now, it's heavy duty thick season.
I think maybe many of you saw that they
Yeah.
lost their executive director. So Katie, who you met on the tour last year, is stepping away, and I think they're in the process of finding a new executive.
Good. That's good. Sounds like it's a positive thing.
Katie was great, so she was a really good executive director for Bellman.
Thank you, sir. All right. How many of us will be here for the July 23rd and August 13th meetings? Anybody going?
I won't be here for the 23rd.
Okay,
I'm proceeding with my virtual attendance.
okay.
And I'm missing the 23rd also.
You're also gonna miss the July 23rd. Hey, Rick, what are you doing?
You and I will be here.
But does two managers constitute a quorum?
Three.
Oh, well, okay, we'll have three,
I'll be
but
virtual,
I thought
yeah,
that-
and I'm at my friend's house, and I think that's very good. I think he's got fiber optic better than me though.
Oh, really? Okay, good. Okay. Washington County Fair, July 29th to August 2nd. John, could you give us further information on this? Oh, here it is. Oh, which one? Which one is it? Is it this one?
Pretty colored.
Okay, the pretty colors. So, proceed to signing up with these folks at your leisure. I plan to attend. Not supposed to, but I do like some of that fair food. You know, oh, sweaty. Like it's a Joseph Conrad novel. Yeah. Okay. If you guys ain't read any of it stuff. Let's see. You know what to do there. Summer tour.
Mr. President, you skipped one, so the workshop.
See, on the water, yeah. July 30th, we're going to attend that. I assume all the managers maybe?
I will register all the managers, and all the managers expect to attend.
Yes.
I'll email you tomorrow.
I leave on Wednesday for my big Canadian fishing trip, so I'm gonna miss it,
Okay.
along with the fair.
Catching fish like that. Okay, so. Say, Rick, you gonna hang out?
What is the date again?
It's from Stillwater. this
July
year.
30th.
It's on 30th.
30th, okay, yes.
We're going down, not up. July,
I think that's the route away from Stillwater, I guess.
okay. This one might get interesting. I've got some relatives. They're coming in from Norway. And they might be on that boat. Can you imagine that? No way, huh? Is that exclusively for us, watershed people, you know, in the.
There's several boats.
Okay, so they're,
Yeah,
hopefully they'll be on the other boat.
Yeah.
Okay, just saying. All right,
So
I'm in.
I'll,
I'm in.
you'll contact me.
I'm
Expect 4, but.
I think I'm in, but it's always best to check with the scheduler in chief. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna run into that one, but I'm going. Okay. What does they say? It's better to ask for forgiveness than for permission. Yeah, that's what I do. For the most part, for the most part. Okay, then the summer tour. Can we talk about that at the next meeting? August 25.6. And the annual meeting for resolutions and petitions, that's virtual. That's August 31st. And I plan to sit at my computer and anybody else that's interested. John, Mr. Brock, you're part of that, right? And Rick is the alternate.
alternate, yeah.
Yeah, so that's gonna happen. And if we don't need that many, then I'll be the only one attending.
I guess backing up to the summer tour, since
Yeah.
there's some absent managers at the next meeting, do either of you plan to go to the summer tour in Newport Lakes? Because I can also register whoever might be attending, and I think sometimes the registration goes up.
Okay, I was not planning.
I'll still be overseas.
And I don't know, the big storm in Detroit Lakes, I don't know if that's gonna change it.
Tornado, yeah,
Oh, for goodness sake, you're
Yeah.
kidding. Oh, boy.
no test.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
certainly
so
don't. I don't plan on attending either.
But we'll talk about it again next time, I just want.
Yes, yeah. Okay, that one's interesting. Thank you, John. All right, the annual meeting, we talked about that. Finally, East Metro Water Resources Education Program, MRAP, 20th anniversary celebration, Rustic Roots Winery, Scandia, Tuesday, September 29th. Do we have to make reservations for that, or? That sounds like it's.
I don't think so yet.
Yeah, hopefully I'm not a designated driver. Just a
That's a
thought.
beautiful spot up there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to go to that,
Yeah, me too.
considering I'm missing almost everything else.
John, please continue to keep us abreast of that. Remind us, please.
They're doing a huge expansion up there too.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Rustic Winery or?
Yeah.
Really? No Merlot. Won't drink a Merlot. Yeah, you guys know.
They grow Marquette up there, our local grape.
Gonna have to see about that.
And they have an
Okay.
awesome Grenache, but I think that's imported.
Another, yeah, further comment. Ms. Lopez, are you still with us?
She was there.
Oh, darn. Okay, I hope she enjoyed this session. One last item. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
So moved and seconded.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
We're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.